Season's greetings to all our viewers all over the globe. Thanks for joining us on the Friday edition of the show. Happy New Year, everyone. It feels good to be here on this lovely Friday evening. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, tonight on the show, we will be talking about the big one, Africa's showpiece, the African Cup of Nations. Get our attention, round of 16 in focus for you. We'll do that on the show tonight. We'll also talk about the English Premier League. It will get our attention on the show tonight. We'll talk about the managers, their plans for the new year as the Premier League hots up. That's the outlook of the show for today. It's a two-man show. You already know that. My colleague Austin Okonakpan is suited and ready as we go along on this ride.
What a greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us in Fez, Morocco. I'm Austin Okonakpan. Thank God it's Friday. So much going on in our world of sports. I'll be talking about what's going on in the camp of the Super Eagles. Some good and heartbreaking stories coming out of Fez, particularly Cyril Dessers and the injuries sustained and how that has ended his tournament right here at the 35th edition of the Africa Cup of Nations. So much going down. I will break it down tonight on the show, Yemi.
All right, we'll do just about that. And of course, joining us on the show tonight in our bid to make it very interesting and robust, we'll bring in our guests on the show tonight. Let me quickly bring on Babajide Oreva. Joins us via Zoom tonight on the show. Babajide, greetings to you. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Yemi. Of course, Happy New Year. Let me say this. Thanks for bringing me on again. Of course, we are in the AFCON season, so let's enjoy.
All right, let me allow Austin do the honors and also bring in our other guest.
I spotted great things. I said that before. Compliments of the season. Let's go to Ottawa in Canada. IoT loves the Super Eagles brand, loves Nigeria football brand. Joins us on the show. IoT, good to see you. Happy New Year. I'm sure you're loving everything you're seeing from the Africa Cup of Nations.
Happy New Year, Austin. Happy New Year to Yemi in the studio as well. It's a pleasure to be on with you guys again. The AFCON brings so much joy to we, the Africans, and I've been enjoying it. It's been a fantastic tournament so far. Happy to be on the show again tonight.
Awesome, Yemi.
All right, let's just go straight into that. But before we move straight into the AFCON segment proper, let's take a breather. And of course, you see us on the other side. All right, now, before we talk about the round of 16, let's talk about the group phase. And, of course, according to CAF, the best 11 from the group phase. We're going to put it on your screen now and talk about it. I'm going to get the guys give us their opinion. I'm just going to go across right about now. And there you have it on your screen. And, of course, very interesting choice they've made. And from a footballing perspective, I wonder if these guys can play together. But this is the best 11. Maybe we'll ask the guests to talk about it. You have El Shinawi in goal, Twanzebe, and Tapsoba in the centre-back position. Mazraoui is in the mix. Baleba is there. Of course, Ibrahim Lukman also in the midfield, attacking midfield position. The front three, you have Riyad Mahrez, Hamad, and of course Sadio Mane. And this is what you have as the CAF best 11 from the group phase. Of course, the choice was made by the experts. Let me just quickly get Babajide's thoughts around this one before I yield the floor to Austin. It's not always easy coming up with these things. There are always many considerations. But I also feel it reflects the performance of these players in the group phase.
So, so let me take it from Eric Shell, the coach. I wasn't surprised that he was the coach of that team because you see his performance. He has been fantastic for the Super Eagles. He has not lost any game in full time, aside the one against DR Congo, which he was via penalties, and then of course the friendly against Egypt. So it's a good one for him. I feel okay now heading into Friday's game. He will boost his confidence in selecting the players. Also, it's a good one for Ademola Lookman. He has been fantastic this season, even though he started the season on a very poor note, even with Atalanta. But so far, 17 goals for the club, 6 goals for the club this season. And then, of course, you know that in the latest, just before coming for the AFCON, he has been doing well. So possibly now he has found his rhythm, and this has also translated in better performance for the national team. You see him doing so fine now, and I hope this, now that we'll go to the quarterfinal, to the second round, then he can also. Fantastic for Tapsoba of Burkina Faso. You know, in Africa, you just want to enjoy it. I also like the fact that the big boys are there. You see, we have Mahrez, we have Sadio Mane doing well. Mane also already scored 3 goals. So you know that, yes, these big boys are here to make a statement. Also, Amad Diallo, the experience with Manchester United, and now even though Sunderland, you see how it's translating at the biggest stage of African football. So let's enjoy it. Of course, it's still early. I like the fact that CAF actually took their time to pick these players, and you actually go to the pitch and actually see, yes, that they are doing well. Managerial has been doing well for Morocco as well. So let's enjoy. Good one for CAF, and of course, beautiful one for the Super Eagles, especially for the coach of the team of the first round, Eric Schell.
All right, let me go to Austin quickly. And just out of curiosity, I know you're going to bring IoT into it, but just out of curiosity, do you feel there should have been more Nigerians in this best 11? And could there be any arguments about the choice of Eric Schell as the coach of this selected 11?
No, Yemi, absolutely not. Got maximum points, set up his team in a way that they were supposed to win, and they won. You know, definitely Eric Schell deserves to be the coach of the group stage. Which Nigerian do I think should have been in that group stage 11? Let me give it to IoT. IoT, who should have been in that list?
Honestly, this list is as good as it could have been. If I have to answer Yemi's question and say, should there have been more Nigerians? The one Nigerian that I would have liked to see would have been Calvin Bassey. I think that Bassey has been very, very good throughout the group stage, you know, very solid enough, not making many mistakes. Yes, I know in the final game, he only played 45 minutes and he went off. But, you know, I still think that his performances have been good enough for him to be noticed. It is not to say that Tapsoba and Twanzebe, who made it as the centre-backs, haven't been doing well. But, you know, maybe it's because of my bias, I just felt like Calvin Bassey deserved this spot. But nevertheless, I'm happy with it. Eric Schell, well-deserved, you know, fantastic coaching throughout the group stage so far. And it's a good sign for me as a Nigerian, you know, looking forward to what we can potentially do in the knockout rounds.
That's right. I like it. But let's look at it generally. Have you been impressed? I know you said it a bit, but have you been impressed with the quality of play at this Africa Cup of Nations? Starts with the Super Eagles and get into another team that I want to talk about, IoT.
Yes, Austin, I have been very impressed. The Super Eagles have been playing good football for 75 out of 90 minutes in every game. We have this tendency to slip off a little bit in the last 15 minutes. When things are looking comfortable, we somehow find a way to concede a goal, you know, which is the only thing that I've not loved so far. But you can see the boys playing well. You can see the chemistry. You know, you can see what Eric Schell is cooking. We've been waiting for a long time to really see the Super Eagles play like this, and I'm happy with what we're seeing. And then when you go to other teams, you know, you'll have the likes of Algeria playing very well. You have the likes of DR Congo playing very well. I've been impressed with Ivory Coast. I've been impressed with Cameroon. We've seen all sorts of beautiful goals, from overhead kicks to long-range bangers to curlers. You know, the AFCON is a tournament that gives you excitement like none other, honestly, in world football. I've been very impressed with the play. I think that there's so much more that's yet to come in knockout rounds as well.
That's right. Sounds good. Let's go to Babajide Oreva. Babajide, I was speaking with Cecilia last week on the show, and she was saying she was hearing about gates being thrown open so spectators can come in. I said it's not this Patrice Motsepe's administration that's going to happen because he's big on commercializing football. But have you been disappointed with the turnout so far?
Obviously, I have. You could see Hugo Bruce of South Africa, the coach of the South African national team. He came out and he said that, okay, so you see the fans are not really as active as it was in at the AFCON in Ivory Coast. I remember I was in AFCON, I was in Abidjan, and you see, even when you are going to the stadium, on your way, once you're out of the hotel, then you see fans, you see all the razzmatazz of Africa, you see the culture, you see, but in Morocco, I don't think I've seen such spark. Maybe when the competition gets into the knockout phase as we are heading, possibly that will happen, but I think I've been disappointed. But however, when we go into this knockout phase, I seriously hope it will happen, because I can tell you most fan statistics have shown that no, this has not been a good turnout. Also, I know that at the moment, even the Nigerian fans are not the real supporters of the national team. And of course, I don't even want to delve into that, because that's a special topic on its own. But I hope the AFCON will actually live up to that name, AFCON, when we talk about fan turnout.
All right. So that's interesting to look at. So we go straight now to talk about the round of 16, and special emphasis will be on the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I'm very sure you're going to see it on your screen right about now. That round of 16 fixture that is getting everyone talking, Nigeria and Mozambique. So, Babajide, let me stay with you for probably just a minute, and I go to IoT. Your thoughts on this one, Nigeria, Mozambique. What are your thoughts?
So, of course, we know when we're talking about pedigree of African football, Mozambique do not match Nigeria. But however, this is their first time getting to such, and I can tell you they can be dangerous. They could hurt Nigeria so bad. They are also a very good scoring side. They scored 4 goals. Their last game, they defeated Gabon 3. So you know that they can score. We also need to, our players, defenders, OEMH, they need to be careful of this striker, Geni Katamu. The guy, you need to see the highlights and then you understand what I'm saying. That guy plays like Messi. I remember one of his goals in the tournament. He had to flick it with that signature Messi-like goal. So you need to understand that these guys can hurt. My concern for Super Eagles is, the national team now, I think we are beginning to get that kind of flow that we do. But I don't know if they will also bring this to the second round, because now there will be pressure. You make one mistake and then you're out. So what I'm only trying to say is you need to understand that every game from now on is now a final. You approach each game with all arsenal that you can. So it will be a tough one. On paper, yes, Nigeria, of course, but I can tell you it might be a very tough night for us.
All right. Let's quickly take a look at the head-to-head. They'll tell you that stats don't play football, but then again, there's an adage in the southwestern part of Nigeria: if you don't know where you're going to, at least you know where you're coming from. So let's take a look at where we're coming from. Head-to-head, Nigeria and Mozambique. And of course, this is what we put together in 2023, an international friendly in Lisbon between Nigeria and Mozambique. Of course, the Super Eagles won that 3-2. The other matches that we've played, starting from 1999, August 17, an international friendly in Maputo. The Super Eagles edged that as well. In 2009 World Cup qualifier in Maputo, of course, it was a draw, Nigeria and Mozambique. And of course, there was this game in January at the AFCON proper. Of course, Nigeria defeated Mozambique 3-0 in that one. World Cup qualifier in Abuja, of course, slim 1-0 victory for Nigeria in that one. And of course, the one I talked about in Lisbon, international friendly, Lisbon, Portugal, Nigeria defeated Mozambique 3-2. Let me go to IoT and just ask you this quickly before I yield to Austin. I just said stats don't play football, but then again, there are people that will look at the stats and say, look, Mozambique, doesn't really pose much of a threat to Nigeria. So where do you start in the divide? Should the Super Eagles be cautious, or should we just wave them off like some people have done? I don't think it's right anyway, but where do you stand in the divide?
We definitely cannot wave them off. On paper, we might look at it and say Nigeria is much better than Mozambique. I remember that 2023 game. Like Jide rightly pointed out, Katamo gave them the lead in that match. We had Murphy, Onyeka, and Simon scoring before then. Bernal scored the second goal for them to make it 3-2. It was a friendly, but it wasn't an easy game. We've watched Mozambique in this tournament as well. Even though they lost 2 matches, it was a narrow 1-0 defeat against the Ivory Coast. And we saw on the final day of the group stage, they nearly shocked Cameroon, and Cameroon had to fight to come back from behind and win that game. So we can't wave them off, But at the same time, as we're not underrating Mozambique, we also should not underrate the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The way they've been playing in this tournament so far, they've been very, very good. We have firepower. Like I said earlier, we have this tendency to concede a goal, so that's something that we have to be careful about. But if we play the way we've been playing, I think we have more than enough to get past Mozambique fairly comfortably.
All right.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'll just jump into that, Yemi. I completely agree. I was monitoring the team at their training session on Wednesday, and I said the same thing to Coach Eric Shen. I know people might come out and feel that, we're trying to underrate the Mambas of Mozambique. No, I was the one throwing caution everywhere that we need to be careful. There's no room for complacency. But I think one thing I've noticed about the Super Eagles team, they're getting better match after match. And I think that's what they owe themselves, And it was a beautiful thing to see the reserve team do what they did against a determined team from Uganda in their last match, And people might not understand how important that game was for Uganda until you go and see that Tanzania used to make up points that you can count on your fingers to make it to the next round. And that was why Coach Paul Potts was really pissed. But this team, their mentality is right. I spoke to Paul Onuachu, I spoke to Fisayo Dele Bashiru, and they're all saying the same thing. Even Ademola Lookman, that they're still hurting, that they didn't qualify for the World Cup. And if they have a way to, get all the way in this AFCON, to just say sorry to Nigerians for that. Even Wilfred Indy echoed same thoughts at the press conference. That can actually put some level of pressure on them, but it's a reminder that they must put words to action, that you are a big team, you are the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and you must show workings. Quick update from the camp, Ayemi. Yesterday and today, they had closed-door training session. Eric Sherry needed to see the players. Pictures will come on the screen now. 25 players trained today. Ryan Alabioshu finally came out, but couldn't train with the team. He's recovering from that leg injury that I picked up in that game against Uganda. A thigh injury has ruled out Cyril Dessas from the team. He has now returned to his club. It's painful. I saw him on Wednesday. He was sitting beside Victor Osimhen and he wasn't smiling. These are the sort of things we're talking about, that just one bad moment can ruin your tournament. That's tournament football for you. I'm really sad for, Cyril Dessas, because I thought he was brought into this team, to come on when we really need maybe like a super sub moment, use his intelligence to do one or two things for the team. Tochukwu Nadi also sat out of training today. He's down with a cold. Look, it's simple. Just like what I've been saying, Coach Eric Shell told the team, look, this 9-point successes from the group stage, it has gone. We are into the knockout phase now, and this is serious business. Everyone needs to understand that now, that you lose 1-0, you are packing your bags and off you go. So get that out of your head. It's flattering, it's nice, but the real business starts now. And that's why they are getting ready for the round of 16, which has everything in it for them. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Let's go on this quick break now. When we come back, there's still so much more to talk about. The 35th edition of the Africa Cup of Nations. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back, Sports Tonight, on your award-winning, sports-loving channels, television. It's all about the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles are through to the round of 16, business stage of the competition. Yeah, I mean, it's not just Nigeria and Mozambique that will be busy. On Monday, on Saturday and Sunday, we'll see a lot of action in the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yeah, we will. And that takes us straight into the other fixtures. We're done talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, even though it's very hard. We could go on and on. But we have to talk about the other teams, just like Austin said. And there you have it. Saturday's fixtures in the round of 16. Senegal will take on Sudan. Mali will take on Tunisia. Eagles against Eagles, just as it was when the Super Eagles took on the Carthage Eagles. Morocco will take on Tanzania. South Africa will take on Cameroon. This is the pick of the bunch for me. We'll talk about that later. So this is Sunday's fixtures. Then, of course, you already know what's going to happen in the other fixtures where you have the other teams. 8 matches to look forward to in the round of 16. All right, so let's talk about the game. Of course, Sudan taking on Senegal. It's been a lot of talk around that game. Let's talk about Black Stars legend Kwesi Appiah, now the coach of Sudan, sharing his thoughts ahead of that crucial encounter against Senegal.
To make sure we showcase what Sudan can also do. We respect each and every team, but Sudan is also here to showcase what the players have and what the team has. We will make sure we give everyone who watches the game a very good presentation of ourselves. Yeah, I've always said that Senegal has got a very good team. I have total respect for Senegal, but the bottom line is when you're playing against Senegal, you respect them, but you have no fear for them. Any team that is in here now, his ambition is how can we win the cup. So my ambition stays the same. Sudan is here to fight to the end. So my vision is not just to depart or to just play this game and that's it. I'm praying that through maybe even the AFCON, it will help let the war calm down or even cease totally. That's why we're praying. Because I remember there was one game we played. When we won the game, everybody had to put his gun down, celebrating for about a week, which for me is something that football can change everything in this world.
All right, Kwesi Appiah there sharing his thoughts. Kwesi Appiah, of course, Black Stars legend and former Black Stars coach as well. Let me go to IoT quickly. I want to ask this question, and I'll take it to Babajide as well. Do you think the upset that a lot of people are looking forward to, do you think it might come from this game, Senegal-Sudan, especially against a backdrop, against this backdrop? One, you could say Sudan doesn't really have anything to lose, and winning means more because of what is currently going on in Sudan. Winning might mean more to Sudan than to Senegal.
I would love to say yes, because we know that the AFCON always brings us this upset. And in this tournament so far, we haven't really seen much of that. But I honestly feel like Senegal have too much firepower for Sudan. I've watched the way Senegal played throughout the group stage. Their star players are starring, and that's something that is very important as well. Sudan managed to get through the group, winning one game, but not scoring any goals of their own. Their only goal was an own goal. So I just don't think that they have enough to be able to upset Senegal. But if it does happen, I think that it would be a big shock to everybody. And it would show that, look, truly and truly, there are no minnows in African football anymore.
All right. So let me just quickly flip to Babajide. The second game of the day will be between two Eagles, the Eagles of Mali and Tunisia, the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia. Where do you think the pendulum will swing? A lot of people have talked about Mali as being a stronger side, but you just have to remember that from possible 9 points, they had just 3. So do you still believe that the Malians are stronger than the Tunisians? Because that seems to be everybody's take.
So for me, it's a dicey game for both teams. I think they match each other. They also know each other. They've met 15 times. I know that the Tunisians, maybe they have a slight edge win of 7. So it will be a 50-50 game. I don't think there will be both teams. If either side that wins, it won't be an upset. It won't be an upset. But I just hope. I would have loved Mali to actually go through, but this is AFCON. Of course, it's also being played in North Africa, and you know that the Tunisians, even despite the fact that the Super Eagles managed a 3-2 win, remember they almost got that equalizer back. But it's a game I want to enjoy. I don't expect a major spark from that game. However, whichever team that wins, it's best for them.
Out of curiosity, I want to ask my colleague this. Austin, I mean, the Malians and the Tunisians, have they really lived up to your expectation? As it is, one of them will go home. One had 4 points, one had 3 points. Any of these two teams, by what you expected before this tournament, have they really, lived up to that expectation?
Mali showed a bit particularly in that game against Morocco, but Tunisia, I've not really seen, particularly with the way they played that last game against Tanzania. But isn't that football for you? Isn't it what you see when you least expect it? It now pops up and then it stuns you. I was at the press conference for that match, match we had with them, and I spoke to Taubi, and Taubi reminded me because I said, but now it's so disappointing with Tunisia, Yemi, because of the form that they brought into the AFCON. And so say tournament football can be crazy. And Taubi, I said, is this tournament the one that you guys will use to gain back your respect? And he didn't like that question. He told me that they've always had respect and had to remind me of what they did to Nigeria at the 2021 AFCON. But here we are again. Tunisia showing us that they can actually fizzle out. Last night on the show, I told you, easy peasy, I love upsets. I'm the guy who goes for oddities. And I picked Mali to do just enough, Because if you look at the Malian team, they are solid. And they are the team that can break you from the middle. And if you blink, they can do the wing play so well and hurt you. Momentum is on Mali than, Tunisia at this competition, because Tunisia is now under pressure. They'll start wondering what happened to that form that they brought into the competition. IoT, I don't know about you, but this is what I think about Tunisia. They look like they're not ready to compete, are they?
Austin, I think I slightly disagree with you because, I've liked a little bit of what I've seen from Tunisia. The one thing that maybe they are doing that might not be so favorable to them is that they are letting their opposition play the game, and then they're trying to be compact in defense and then hit on the break. Their coach described them as an Italian-style football team. They want to be very organized, very solid, and then try to hit on counter-attacks. So it has not favored them because we saw they allowed Nigeria play, and then they were able to dominate. Nigeria was able to dominate Tunisia. And then in their final group stage match, maybe they felt fairly comfortable because they did not have to get the win to go through. They kind of knew that they were already going to finish second. But I've been impressed with some of their play. Hannibal Medri is making things happen for them. And I think that they're a well-organized team. The Malians drew all 3 matches in the group stage. And yes, I know that they showed a lot of quality against Morocco, but, they also were not great against a team like Comoros. So I think that it's one of those ties that can honestly swing either way. If Mali win or if Tunisia win, I wouldn't be surprised anyway. But for me, I give Tunisia the slight edge in this one.
We'll see. We'll both talk about it again. IoT, thank you so much for your time on the show. Always a delight to talk football with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Austin, and thank you, Yemi, as well. I appreciate it.
All right, let me also say thanks to Babajide Oreva. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for your time on the show. We'll do this again. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, Yemi, let's get on with the show now. Yemi, are you still staying with the picks you had yesterday, or after these analysis and some of the things you've seen, are you changing, or are you still staying with those guys that you think can go all the way to the quarterfinals?
No, I don't want to be fickle. It's too late in the day to start making changes. I'll go with a straight face. I'll go with the teams I picked, and I'll eat the humble pie if I'm wrong. Well, in any case, this discussion takes us to the end of the conversation around the AFCON. So we'll pause for a little, and of course, on the other side, we'll talk about the other things happening in your fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. All right, let's move on. Of course, we're still reeling from the shock of what happened on Monday. Of course, two-time heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua involved in an accident that cost the life of two of his friends. Of course, he's been discharged, going on to recuperate at home. But what's in the news, as hinted by the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, yesterday, is now official. The driver of the car involved in the accident, the driver has been charged with dangerous driving. So that's the latest. I mean, I don't even know the words to use. A lot of people are already saying the less we hear about this, maybe it will be the road to recovery. There are so many issues. And I know also you said it yesterday. One of the things people are saying is it's sad enough this has happened, but no matter what you do, it's not going to bring back those lives lost. And there are also some associated issues that probably should be addressed. Yes, the police will do their investigation, and if it is concluded that there was dangerous driving involved, well, maybe we'll see what they do from there. But also there are associated issues here and there that probably needs to be looked at. But no matter how you look at it, it turns your stomach somehow. It's just not a pleasant story.
It's not, I mean, I struggled to do the analysis last night. I still struggle again. There's another angle. In fact, people reached out to me saying, oh, Austin, why is it that they want to dump everything on the driver? This and that, we should explore the angle of safety. I say, I'm in Fez, Morocco for the Africa Cup of Nations, And I still said what I said yesterday. Yes, if we're using this to pass a strong message on road safety, then it's fantastic. Yes, question the driver. Let's know what's going on, particularly how fit he was to drive. Was he tired? Was he under the influence of alcohol, and all of that? Then we can now come out and say, this is what we're talking about, I also made a very valid point that no matter what people say, oh, the truck was by the side of the road, there's no way any driver was in, but he was where he shouldn't be. Yes, and authorities must answer for that. If that truck wasn't there, maybe the accident would happen. Maybe, So, yeah, question the driver. Let us know what came out of the investigation and all of that, and let's find a way to tie it around something that will promote good driving culture in the country, promote safety, let people understand that overspeeding kills. We must put proper standards into our road use culture in Nigeria, because a lot of times we see it, there's still a video of a popular musician that is trending now, and how they are just doing the zigzag, and people are clearing the road and they are driving, just doing, it's tough. We as a people, that national orientation must be done, that everyone must be accountable, particularly when they're out there in the public. The driver was in control of the car. I totally agree. If you go slam into a truck that is stationed, we should ask you questions, particularly when two lives are gone. There's the angle that, oh, the tire busted, oh, this and this, that and that. Let him say what really happened, and let those interrogating him put out these things, as I said, so persons can learn or find a way to avoid these sort of things. I've been praying for Anthony Joshua. He's a guy that I know personally, and I know how much he loves Nigeria. It's quite unfortunate. He will never be himself again, but I really pray that God will, help him through this difficult phase. This is a trauma I will live with all the days of his life, and I pray it doesn't make him, stop being the wonderful human being that he is.
I also to just to add my voice to what you've said, I hope that this incident will become a turning point. That this moment, it's not just going to be about the driver. It's not just going to be about it was all about the driver, but it's going to be a moment that we'll all remember for positive change in Nigeria. I mean, road safety, safety consciousness, and all of these issues, and doing the right thing. All of these things should be, put on the front burner. All right, let's move on the show. It's time to talk about the English Premier League. Let me go across the screen now to just quickly run you through the fixtures. And there you have it. On Saturday, tomorrow, Aston Villa will take on Nottingham Forest. Brighton will take on Burnley. Wolverhampton Wanderers will take on West Ham United. Bournemouth will take on league leaders Arsenal. All right, then let's also look at all the fixtures in the English Premier League. Let's go to Sunday, and on Sunday, Leeds United will take on Manchester United. Everton will take on Brentford. Fulham will take on Liverpool. Newcastle United will take on Crystal Palace. Interesting fixtures in the English Premier League. Tottenham, with under fire manager Thomas Frank, will take on Sunderland. Sunderland giving teams problems, especially the top teams. Then Manchester City will take on, of course, Chelsea. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in that one as well. And again, talking about that very, very important clash, let's quickly listen to Pep Guardiola share his thoughts on his team.
First half very tight. Just we missed, scored a goal in the 6-yard box. So we have many there, good actions against a fantastic team. So, but I'm so proud and delighted the way we played in this difficult stadium against difficult opponent. And we did everything to win, but at the end we couldn't do it. Even the first half, margin is offside, and there they have 1 or 2. They had 2 transitions because our shape to attack was not correct. We talked in the first half, before the game, sorry. Second half, we just, the president already helped us. And when you are, I don't know how many times, 5, 6, 7 times in the 6-yard box, shoot to score a goal, and we're going to do it. So, and at the end was the only we miss in the difference, but sometimes happen.
All right, Pep Guardiola talking about his team, complaining about sloppy finishing. Sunderland built a bridge across their goal, and nothing was going to come on. And Austin, Pep Guardiola looked a bit frustrated in his post-match comments.
Yeah, it's been like that this off-season. I think it's mind games. This is Pep. He comes out sound this way just so teams can think that they can be complacent against him. But this is it's a pretty difficult game for Manchester City, because Chelsea now they're going through a phase where the players need to impress with the exit of Maresca. I don't fall for Pep and his press conference antics, because they get on the pitch and then they do something else. Let's see what will come out of that one. But the man who is really he's not just worried, he's going philosophical, he's prayerful these days. Mikel Arteta, Arsenal's manager, he's saying to his team, look, we need to break this curse. I always used to tell people the Arsenal season starts in January and then gets into February, then we'll know where they are going from there. Pep Guardiola, he has charged his team, say, break this New Year curse. And they have a trip to Bournemouth. Listen.
Well, it's where we are, and we are really happy in the position that we are. It can always be better. There are things to improve, obviously, and the only thing we look is at Bournemouth the next game, and we know how tough it is for every opponent to beat them. Let's break it, for sure. Give me some good ones next time. Yes, but we are still in early January, so we have another 5 months to go, and so far we have to do much more. Well, very important, and the thing is that you don't know if you're going to be a finisher, a starter, or sometimes you have to come in because a player gets injured in the warm-up. So that's how ready you have to be. And again, as I said, it's a joy because the players are really committed, really willing to participate in whatever role they have on the day, and that's what we need. Well, I think that's what they transmit every single day, whether they are with us training on every match. You can see the desire, you can see the energy that they put in, how much they want it, and that's what we need. But still 5 months to go, and take it day by day, enjoy that process of being where we are, and go for it.
Yeah, that's it. Arsenal's manager, Mikel Arteta. Yeah, I mean, that's how it needs to sound, particularly when you're taking a flawless record in your last 5 matches. To Bournemouth, that have struggled in their last 5, 4 draws and 1 win. Look, this is the sort of game that they would want to come out to push. And I think it's a big, big test for Arsenal. But as I said, for me, I've been saying, this is where the season starts, particularly for Arsenal. Let's see how Mikel Arteta, player management, game management can be useful. And it starts with that trip to Bournemouth, Yemi.
Yeah, it does, I agree. But the alarm bells are not ringing. I don't know. The alarm bells are not ringing because there's this perception that mentally the Gunners are strong, and they have the strongest squad this season. So those 2 factors explains why a lot of the fans are not really bothered. And, Mikel Arteta is trying to keep a straight face. And you also consider that, look, the rivals, you also need your rivals to have their own sort of misfortune. City might be chasing Arsenal, but it's not the City of 4 or 5 years ago that could make you shiver. Because if you drop points, City can drop points. It's not like the City of 5, 6 seasons ago. Neither is it the Liverpool of 4 seasons ago. But that does not in any way mean that the Gunners can be careless with what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, last 2 seasons, Arsenal called Man City to say, take the title, we don't want it.
Sure. Yeah.
Have you forgotten?
Yeah.
So that's what Mikel Arteta, I think, is trying to do with his team now. Say, this is the January where we always struggle and all of that. So let's see if we can break it. But yeah, I totally agree with you. The alarm bells aren't ringing because it's definitely a good season compared to the last 3 that I've seen with the Gunners. And it's simple. They did bolster that squad and this quality across different, departments in the team. Let's go to Chelsea. Enzo Maresca said, look, goodbye. I'm done. Something is not going right. And so the board allowed him to go. They have Manchester City to start a new life with. And it is the interim boss, McFarlane, that will be in charge of that one. Let's listen to him.
Yeah, it's been a crazy 24 hours, a whirlwind, as you can imagine, but also really enjoyable and really exciting. So I can only feel positive about it. It's an amazing experience. Yeah, I think there's a really good culture at the club in terms of the support from the first team, from the directors, from everyone seems interested. So when we've had big youth league games in the Youth Champions League, the first team players are coming across and watching. There's obviously a bit of an academy presence there as well. So I met with a few of the individuals beforehand, but I was officially introduced this morning. I don't know what to expect really, but the energy and enthusiasm in training was exceptional today. They seem really focused. They're really driven, hungry. They know we've got a massive game on Sunday and we're going to have to be at our best. So you can feel that. They're professionals. They've done this a long time. They've been here before. Reece has been brilliant. He's been a real leader in the group and supported the staff and the players. So you can't ask for any more. It just seems like a real focus for getting the best performance we can on Sunday.
Yeah, that's it. Chelsea's interim manager. This is not how you want to, get into the job, with a tough trip to the Etihad Stadium. But it said, look, these guys are professional. They are focused. They want to see if they can turn it around. We'll be monitoring it. That's the show in Fez, Morocco. I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
It's a wrap here in Lagos as well. I want to thank you for your time. It's the last one, last edition of the show for the week. You see us again next week. Enjoy your weekend. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye.